Fellas, welcome back, or welcome to begin with. This is episode 1, Kenny. We got Europe's finest, or I'm going to like to call it the EF show on the remotely related channel here on YouTube, where each week we're going to talk strictly European Champions League football. No fluff, no BS, no storytelling. It's going to be all ball.
Yeah.
It's going to be all ball.
Okay.
Unless we get off the path, and there are some teams that we might, just drag into the water. Manchester United. We might talk about them a little bit if we have to. But that's not the goal. The goal here is to set the table for this week's Champions League fixtures. Kenny, how we doing? Massive week in the Champions League here.
You know what? I'm doing all right. Massive week coming up, as you said. Very excited to talk about it, but I think it's also important to let the viewers know, yes, we are American, and yes, we do watch Champions League. We do exist. We are out here, and I know that some of you don't believe that we don't know ball. Or it's a terrible take. Just know that we don't. We are here to bring these terrible takes to you guys.
Just know that you are right. Like we said, no fluff, no BS. First game we're talking about, Real Madrid, the team that gets it done in the Champions League every single year. Let's be honest. They get it done. When the lights show up, the lights are bright, they win. But if there's a matchup of a team that they would not want to see in these early stages, it would be Atletico. Let's be real. They don't want to see Atletico.
I agree.
Now,
I don't.
I'm not going to go as bold as saying, I think Atletico are going to win. But this is a really, really tricky fixture for both sides.
Yeah. I think with Atletico Madrid, it's important to note that, yeah, I know Diego Simeone ball, it's all this defensive heroics that everyone loves to talk about. But personally, I don't think they get enough credit for when they are on the ball. Like the likes of, even though it's a simple 4-4-2, but with Griezmann just being able to run around wherever, I think with Conor Gallagher in the midfield still just absolutely buzzing. They do have a very good structure, a very good setup. And like you said, Real Madrid, we understand the firepower that comes with Real Madrid, the heritage that comes with Real Madrid in this tournament. But no Jude Bellingham first leg. Valverde, who I think is the heart and soul of that team, he's doubtful for the game. This is a very, very tricky first game, and it's at the Bernabeu. Like this is a very, very scary sight for Madrid in the sense of if you don't get the result, going to Atletico Madrid is going to be very tough.
I will say in previous years, that's something they have been able to fall back on, and that the first leg, they've been able to just keep it close. Even if they're down 2 goals going into the second leg, they're going back home, they're going to their fortress. They're probably going to take care of business. You don't have that luxury this time around. The last 3 times these two sides faced up against each other, the game's finished 1-1. Real Madrid do not want low-scoring fixtures. They have, in my opinion, the best player in the world, not at this current moment, but over the last 5 years.
Which one?
They have the most talented player in the world in Kylian Mbappe, and that's not even mentioning Vinicius, Rodrigo, Jude, who is going to miss the first leg, Valverde. But defensively, there's a lot of just pick and plug right now. They're not at their strongest back line. And if you're not at your strength, full strength back line, that's not ideal. I know Atletico don't want the ball, but you might get countered. And the thing with Madrid is, Real Madrid, they don't really want the ball either, to be honest with you. The way they play, they're not going to press. They're not going to win it back. And I've said this before. I might be wrong. I just think it's very hard when you have 2 players in your team that have 0 defensive responsibility to get a job done, especially if you're missing key center backs and key defenders.
I agree. I think with those key players, they can get away with it. when Valverde's playing, when Jude's playing, because these are two players that can easily attack and defend, very complete individuals. But without them in the side, you're going to lack that quality to help the attack with Vinny and Mbappe and Rodrigo. And defensively, you're going to have some more exposure with the Rudigers, or if Alaba's back, or if Brandon Vasquez is playing. So, yeah, like we said, this is a very dangerous fixture for Madrid. It would be very, very shocking if they didn't make it through. But to Atletico Madrid credit, they're still in the title race with Real Madrid and Barcelona. They have heritage in this competition. You never know. You never know.
You don't, but the thing with Atletico is it's just frustrating to play against.
Yeah.
And they add the ability with guys like Griezmann and Julian Alvarez. They add quality to it. This isn't a team we're going to talk about later that have no attackers left that are good defensively. This team's just as stout defensively, but with really, really talented players that can score you goals out of nothing.
We saw the confidence that is with this team as well. During one of the draws you were talking about, Julian Alvarez had a very, very cheeky penalty at the Bernabeu. So this is an occasion that I think Atletico Madrid is going to be very, extremely ready for. I saw another clip on Twitter today where Diego Simeone didn't get hyped for one of the goals. Instead, he got hyped when Conor Gallagher made a double slide tackle challenge on one on the sideline and one that went out for a goal kick. This is the Atletico Madrid that you're dealing with. And I know, the Madrid derby, they're very familiar with each other. They all know this, but a very interesting tie, to say the least.
At Atletico, they have one of the deepest squads in Europe. If I looked today, I went player by player. 1 through 25, they're up there with the best. They're up there with the best. They might not have the best 11. They don't have the best 11. But 1 through 25, very deep, and they have a bunch of competent players. Another tricky one, PSG and Liverpool.
Oh.
I think that this is honestly an absolute nightmare for both teams. And the reason I say that, if you look at the ability of PSG's wingers on the ball, and you look at the likes of Trent Alexander-Arnold and Andrew Robertson, there are a lot of problems that can be caused there. But on the flip side, there are also a lot of problems that Mohamed Salah and Luis Diaz can cause the PSG defense. So I know a lot of people are thinking these games could be 3-2, 4-4. I don't know if that's going to happen, but it definitely has the potential to be absolute fireworks and cinema.
I think this is the tie that everyone circled on their calendar when this released. It's one of the more interesting ones because you have the Madrid derby. I know we'll get to the other games later, but Bayern's playing Leverkusen. These are all teams that are familiar with each other. In terms of just attack, in terms of just fluidity, variety, this is going to be the most aesthetically pleasing fixture. Like you said, the wingers, they have so much just versatility now. Ousmane Dembele's not even their winger anymore. He's their bagsman. And with him, Kvaratskhelia, and then, what's his name? Barcola, but there's the other one, Doué. I don't know his first name. It's Denzel Doué or something, but those four in the attack and just the rotation they have, the way PSG plays now, if Dembele goes to the side, left or right, people could just go into that 9 spot and it's just a constant rotation. And with Robertson and Trent, like you said, this is going to be, it has to be a defensive masterclass from him because there's a difference when Jeremy Doku has no help when you're going at Trent, but Konate's there. If Trent is on an island, he kind of has to survive on his own because Konate and Van Dijk really can't leave an informed Dembele on his own right now. So I don't know how you're feeling as a Liverpool fan in terms of confidence. Just want to throw that out there.
Trent's going to get ran past a lot. I think we know this. But Trent's also been ran past a lot his whole career. So who knows what's going to happen. I think even more important than the front three of both teams, the midfield battle in this game.
Class. So good.
You got Gravenberch, McAllister, Szoboszlai, and then you got the likes of Vitinha, João Neves, Fabio Luiz, Zaire Emery.
Two-way plays there too. This is going to be so good.
The game could be won in the midfield, and I think the unfamiliarity. Jesus, wow!
There you go. Yeah,
it's gonna play a big part because neither of these teams have seen each other in years, and when they had seen each other, then completely different squads, completely different styles. Now, and Liverpool's defense and what they're going to cling on to is that it is PSG. And when PSG play league games, no matter what you say, they're not tested. So yes, this will be a test for Liverpool, but for PSG, this is going to be hands down the best team they've played all year. And there's no one they've played that are going to come close to touching it. But second leg's at Anfield too. So very similar to the Madrid derby, it's second leg's at Anfield. So PSG have to come out of this first fixture ahead, I think.
I agree, because that was going to be my next point. In terms of how PSG attacks this first leg, they probably have to go out for it and try to get a 2-goal lead, because going to Anfield is not something that anyone wants to do this year. And if you're the home side, you have to take the initiative. You have to take some risks. And I think with the back line they have, Lucas Hernandez, I don't know if is he the starting left back for them? I think so.
I believe so. Yeah.
He is going to have an absolute job on his hands. The whole back line for PSG is where the game's going to be won and lost for them, because on the ball, everything's going to be great. I think there's going to be times when Arnie's going to set up Liverpool, so they're just going to be parked. They're just going to be chilling. So the on the ball with the defenders, with everyone, it should be okay. But when it comes to, Liverpool's on the counter, that Trent ball over the top, like Luis Diaz dribbling by people, how are they going to handle that? It's something they haven't seen this season, so it's going to be very intriguing.
There's only two ways it plays out. It's either going to be an absolute fire fest and it's going to be 3-3, or Liverpool are going to score first and control it, I think. I don't see it going any other way than those two. They love it 2-0
this year.
So It's going to come down to, is the experience going to win out, or is the youthful energy and directness going to win out? It's going to be brilliant either way. But next fixture, speaking of experience and the youthful directness, Leverkusen, Bayern Munich. I have no idea where to go with this fixture, because these are clearly the best two teams in Germany.
Yeah,
managed by two of, I'm not ready to say two of yet. I'm ready to say Xabi Alonso is one of the best managers in the world. Vincent Kompany might get there. Now he's playing with a really good team, and they play a really good style of football. But this game, it's one that you can't predict, because they've played each other so many times. The results have been so split.
Did you see the most recent one?
Even the most recent one, Leverkusen played them off the pitch. So I don't know what to expect.
Yeah, the expectation for this one is really interesting. I think with Bayern Munich, you have a team that, pound for pound, player for player, I think their starting 11 is very good, but I don't know if they have the depth of some of these other teams in Europe. With them, they did just scrape by Celtic to get here. I don't know if anyone else saw that result, but it was a 1-1, and Alphonso Davies scored in the 94th minute to get them to this position. This is new territory for Vincent Kompany, and I'm scared that he might be out of his depth. And I haven't, like, the one thing I don't want to do is lie. Me watching Bayern Munich this season has not been on my agenda. But what I will say is usually there's a lot of just like footy talk that I just see or read about, and I don't hear much about the likes of the Jamal Musiala. I've seen some things with Olise, so it seems like he's fitting in well. Harry Kane is still going to Harry Kane. But other than that, I'm scared they're lacking the creativity and what's needed to get past Leverkusen in 2 legs. And that's why I'm very hesitant with saying Bayern Munich can get this done.
You know, what's terrifying is you said Harry Kane's Harry Kane. And if anything about Harry Kane that we know, it is that when the lights are on, his team doesn't raise the trophy. Now, they're going to win the Bundesliga, but this is a completely different animal. This is a 2-leg fixture. You know, winning games and stacking wins in the Bundesliga is easy. Playing Leverkusen 2 times in a span of 2 weeks is not. And the second leg's at Leverkusen, right?
I believe so. Yeah.
You got the battle of the elite German attacking midfielders. Look, I'm a Florian Wirtz guy. I'll go on record here. I'll say it.
Okay.
I like him better than Jamal Musiala. That's my personal vibe. Now, I want to see these two go head-to-head, and I want to see which one of them is going to grab the game by the scruff of the neck and say, I'm going to lead my team to the next round of the Champions League. That is what I want to see. I don't want to see Harry Kane have to carry them because he's like 32. He's old. Shouldn't be his job. And I don't want to see Victor Boniface have to carry him. I want to see the 2 best players on these teams.
Great Selly, though. Boniface.
Dig their feet in and have a good result. I will say, I feel like Neuer's going to make a mistake in one of these fixtures because I've just seen it happen a lot recently. That is a man that is past his best, let's be honest. This man needs replaced. He is a legend. But the catalog of errors that I've seen over the past 2 seasons, it is not ideal. It's not
Ever
ideal.
since the skiing trip. The skiing trip did him dirty. But no, I think with Neuer, you can also look at the people in front of him, Upamecano and was it Kim Lee?
I don't trust them.
I don't exactly. Exactly. Like Future said in the album, we still don't trust you. So I think with Leverkusen though, moving back to them, obviously they're the youthful spirit. They're the ones that had the long lasting record last season, breaking all these records, and with the likes of Jeremy Frimpong, who I think is now more playing as like a right winger as compared to like a wing back, and just what Wirtz can do, and Boniface is in form, and all this stuff is going. Yeah. All this stuff is going with Leverkusen, so I'm really just leaning towards them to get the job done.
It's a hot one. It's hot one. It's heating up.
I think it's maybe room temperature.
Yeah, it's not that hot, to be honest with you. Barcelona and Benfica.
Ooh.
Another tricky one. I will say, as a Liverpool fan, when I saw the pot that we could either play PSG or Benfica in this round, I was very mad that it ended up being PSG. I'm not saying Benfica aren't a good team, but I would fancy Barcelona to handle them very simply, to be nice.
Yeah. I don't know if you saw earlier in this Champions League campaign, I think Benfica and Barcelona had probably game of the season. The 5-4 thriller. Probably something that won't get created again, but Benfica is set up with the wing-back formation in the 3-4-3. I do like their left wing-back. I don't know if he'll be able to put in a shift against Lamine Yamal again, who after today, I saw those clips against Real Sociedad. That is the scariest 17-year-old playing footy that I've ever seen. But yeah, Benfica's clearly the underdog here. With Barcelona, we know that they're starting to bring back the flair, the pizzazz of the old Barcelona teams that we grew up on. They're playing very well. They're in the title race, hunting again. You have the likes of the Yamals, Pedri, who I think has been probably the best center mid in the world, like him and Jude side by side. And then the breakout season from Kubarsi has also been brilliant. So those are the players that I'm not worried about, because obviously you still have Lewandowski and Rafinha. The ones that Barcelona should be scared about is who's in goal for them. Szczesny might be due for some howlers the way that Neuer might have a couple. Szczesny and then Garcia, their other center back. I think these are two that they are okay. But if Barcelona is going to Barcelona, those players are going to be elite. It's those two like that you need to rely on to have good games. So it should be interesting.
I'd be willing to say, in weatherman's terms, I am predicting with a 90% accuracy that either Szczesny or Neuer will make a mistake on Wednesday.
Who's home for this one?
Benfica's at home. Second leg is in Barca. I will say with Barca, they play a suicidal high line. And any team that's willing to be bold on the ball and run behind, it's a problem. It's a massive problem. And I've seen plenty of games this year where they really just concede cheap goals because of the high line.
The Benfica game, it happened.
And there's really no need to do it, especially that game. I believe they were up by 2 goals in that game, and it was just like, there you go, lead's gone. We have to go score again. Now, they can go score whenever they want, but in the Champions League, the games aren't typically that wide open. And if you're going to play that wide open, you're just setting yourself up to be in a position that you don't need to be in. But
I think with all that being said, I think Benfica gets a tie for this upcoming leg since it is at home. And we'll see what Barcelona does second leg, but I'm excited for this first one.
Alrighty. 2 teams you're familiar with. I'm not very familiar with, but
gosh.
Feyenoord and Inter. You don't like either one of these sides.
Yeah. We can make this one the quickest segment for the matchup previews. Feyenoord, so they got to this point by beating AC Milan. That is my team, for those who don't know. It's been that team for 15 years. But Feyenoord is gonna. Here's the thing with them. They don't have their captain. He's injured. It's Timber's brother. He's injured. They have a bunch of other injuries. They have a new they're still looking for a new coach. There's so much stuff going on with them, and the fact that they were even able to get to this point is insane.
Well, it's embarrassing.
Hey, if you want embarrassing, just go to my recaps of them on my TikTok, and you can see how I really feel about AC Milan. But no, it's gonna be their wingers. Their wingers for Feyenoord are gonna be the most dangerous threat. Paxao, who actually took Kyle Walker's dignity as a defender and just ruined it in the first leg. And then their right winger, I forget his name, but he's also very good, and they're gonna basically live off of those two. A couple inshallah balls, see what happens. But yeah, Inter on the other hand, we know what they are. It's a bunch of the old guys at the junction getting it done. Just they know what needs to be done, and I expect them to have competence, something that their Milan rivals don't have, and they'll just score, make it 1-0 for both legs, cheeky 2-0 next round. But yeah,
it should be comfy.
It should be comfortable for them.
Club Brugge and Villa. Look, as a Premier League fan, I am praying that Aston Villa is putting it together in the Champions League, because what they have done in the Prem, I don't know if they don't care, or they might just not be good, which would be the worst possible scenario for this upcoming fixture. But they got to get through Club Brugge. You can't be in the Champions League as an English Premier League side. You should be wiping the Belgian teams under the rug. And I'm sorry, that might offend some of you that like Club Brugge, but it's true. It's factual. You should not, if you win this game, it is down to the incompetence of Aston Villa, not to the brilliance of Club Brugge. I'm sorry.
Yeah, I mean, I agree with Aston Villa. They're in a good spot though in Champions League. I think having Unai Emery, who loves just European tournaments, this is his bag. The reason why you see Villa losing to like Palace or whatever teams are playing in the Premier League and sitting in ninth, it's because Unai Emery is a European specialist. With Asensio and Rashford as well, 7 GAs in their last 3 games. The 2-man combination between them is looking really good. I'm excited to see Yuri Tillmans in this format with are going against a Belgian side. I know just with nationality and everything, but yeah, it should be comfortable for Villa. They have the talent to do it. It's just, do they have the experience, I guess, to get it over the line, because they haven't been here before?
The manager has the experience to get it over the line, and I think that's why you'd back them no matter how poorly they've been playing in the league. I mean, and they also, like you said, they have the individual difference makers, right? I know we like to give Marcus Rashford a lot of stick, but since he's gone to Villa, he seems like he enjoys football again.
Playing with a
He's
smile.
Playing really well. And Asensio is a nice little player. Let's be honest. He can do a job.
He was a wonder kid. He was a wonder kid. We know how good he was supposed to be.
Not many of those wonder kids turned out well. Let's be honest.
They're not wonder
many
men.
Of them. Yeah, they're not doing too hot. Not many of them.
Just left wondering.
But
no,
Villa's, from the betting odds, they're slight favorites to win the first leg.
Yeah. With Club Brugge, just quickly from what I saw, because again, I'm not gonna act like I'm a Club Brugge expert here. There is that right winger for them who scored twice against Atalanta, but I think besides that, based on all the highlights and everything I've seen, he is a very good player. His last name's Talby, so he's gonna have to be the difference maker for him. See, I tried to say, I hope it's right, but no, he's gonna be a very important player for him. And then they got to this stage by beating Atalanta, and if anyone just wants entertainment to see how they got to this leg, you could just watch those highlights. There was a crazy PK call in their first leg that was absolutely shambolic. But then everything else, Atalanta kind of just said, "Here, we don't want to play anymore. Take our spot." But
Chemsdine Talby.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm telling you.
7 goals and 4 assists in 34 games this season.
I'm telling you.
Hey, his market value is really shooting up. Guess how much he's worth?
I'm going to say $3 million.
30K. On that note, Aston Villa, you got to get through. Dortmund playing against the running Jonathan Davids. Let's call him that.
I like that. Yeah, I can start with Dortmund real quick. Shout out Dennis, my roommate in college, if he's listening, because he is from Germany and he is a Dortmund fan. I haven't heard a single thing about Dortmund recently, so I had to do some research. Why are they in 10th place in Bundesliga? What did I miss? Is there something that the streets just didn't want to tell me? I'm looking at their starting 11, and it seems as though they moved Emre Can to center back, and doing that in 2025 is definitely a bold move. I will say their Champions League campaign this season has been okay, to be fair. Like, it hasn't been awful. They've gotten some results. And it's a reminder that they do have the talent. I just don't know why the pieces aren't coming together for them. When you have the Gio Reynas, the Adeyemis, Gararsi has been playing very well for them. So I don't know what's going on, but
they played in the final last year.
Yeah. They did do that.
How do you go from playing in the Champions League final to 5 months later, you're in 10th?
Yeah, no,
in a league where there's 4 teams ahead of them in the table. I can't even pronounce some.
Yeah,
Mainz, Freiburg, Wolfsburg, Gladbach, and Stuttgart.
Yeah, no, these are teams that shouldn't be. Yeah,
you're the second biggest club in Germany. What are you doing?
So it's funny you mentioned that because I just remembered they had Nuri Sahin as their manager earlier this year. And
I don't care who was the manager.
I'm all for letting your old players come back and just try to see what they can do. We saw it with like Frank Lampard and Chelsea. Like we've seen it. But cut it out. Cut it out. You can't be that negligent in making those mistakes. Yeah, that's kind of all I have for Dortmund. I am very excited to see if Carney Chukwuemeka plays for them in this tie. He's a very, very talented midfielder who I think deserves to get some minutes. He's on loan from Chelsea, but yeah, Dortmund.
I mean, when you look through this Dortmund squad, there's not much there, to be honest with you. There's really not. There's not. Let's be honest. There's not many players in this team.
I guess. I mean, 10 plays. That explains.
Giddens is an electric little player, I guess.
Yeah, he's good.
But, I mean, Giddens, really? We're counting on Giddens?
Hey, man, there's enough talented players there that it shouldn't just be him. But I understand. Get
Schlotterbeck some help back here, huh?
If we want to, well, I can talk about Lille just very quickly here because I'm sure there's so many people that have been watching them this season, right? But no, they've actually had a really good Champions League campaign. Like when I was looking back, they've beaten both Madrid teams this year. They got a result against Juve. They've gotten a result against Bologna. Like you were watching them against Liverpool. So they've had a very good Champions League run, and I know they might have recently just got slapped up by PSG in the league, but this is Champions League. Yeah, everyone does. So no, with Jonathan David, with Chuba Akpom, I like that front line. We'll have to see how they perform against Dortmund, but honestly, if Lille was to go through, I wouldn't be surprised just based on Dortmund's form.
No, I wouldn't either. And yeah, the form's something to be shocked by.
Yeah.
I mean, I can't even imagine what the performances on the pitch look like with form this bad. The last game, it's another tricky one, let's be honest, because with this Arsenal side right now, you don't know what you're going to get. And Eindhoven, I mean, they're not the best team in the world, but they have a couple players that can cause some issues.
So with PSV, I was a little confused because that is the USA American pipeline. Like, if everyone's good, if you're good in America, you go to PSV. The Serginho Dest, Ricardo Pepi, who's out for the entire season. But one player that, when I was doing my research, I had to look for, why is Richie Ledesma playing right back? This is someone, now I know that I am sitting on this chair for a reason. My playing days are over. Clearly, there's levels that I could only attain to that didn't get achieved. But in that time, I had the chance or the opportunity to play against Richie Ledesma when he was on Real Salt Lake. Now, when I tell you, that was the worst experience that I probably had as a center back, because it was him and Sebastian Soto just toying with us for 85 minutes to make it 2-0 and whatever. But I just don't see him as a right back. But I guess it just brings the question of maybe he's just not good enough once you reach the next level to be an attacking mid or anything. But Richie Ledesma right back is very confusing for that PSV side for me.
Yeah, but they got Luke de Jong leading the line. I mean,
right. How could I forget?
If if there's somebody that's going to frighten William Saliba and Gabriel, it's definitely going to be Luke de Jong.
Yeah, I mean, the only
the good news for PSV is Arsenal can't score, so you might be able to just beat them 1-0 over 2 legs.
Well, this is the thing I was about to say. If they keep it close, there is a lethal shooter on that team who's part of the unction for real. Ivan Perisic? When was the last time you heard that name, Smitty? When was the last time you at Spurs, right?
At least at Spurs. It's been years. It has
when
been
he was
years.
At Spurs, everyone thought his career was over.
Oh, it should be.
Well, if you look at his foot mob. It's like he left Spurs, he went to his hometown club or whatever, and he came back to PSV, and now he's scoring goals against Juventus and assisting to get them to this point. If you keep it close against this Arsenal side, who knows?
They'll crumble. They'll crumble. Let's be honest.
But who's home first? PSV?
PSV, but it doesn't matter because it's not like Arsenal are going to go score 3 at the Emirates. Well, they can't score.
I do want to give them some credit. They've had a very good Champions League campaign, and they the teams in around Europe don't defend the same way that the Prem does. So maybe they do get a couple goals. I'm not going to say it's going to be the prettiest of goals, but they love a set piece. Ethan Winieri, against PSV, I can see causing trouble. I think they'll get by.
And for the sake of the manager, Arsenal better get by. All right. You said you have a hot take. We've ran through all the games. Let me hear your hot take you got.
Well, we kind of alluded to it earlier, and I just want to keep my hot take leg by leg. So mine's going to be Atletico Madrid gets it done against Real Madrid first leg. I genuinely think the way they're set up, the way Madrid doesn't have Bellingham or Valverde, Atletico Madrid gets a result at the Bernabeu.
I hate to say this because we didn't share these before. I didn't do mine leg by leg. I did mine round by round.
Oh, okay.
My hot take was that same fixture. My hot take was that Atletico was going to knock them out.
Okay.
But only time will tell.
Yeah, only time will tell. Hey, we'll see. We shall see.
And if this gets posted anywhere, I guarantee you we're going to be assaulted for saying that. But
probably.
It's just an opinion. It's just an opinion. All right. Predictions. We're just going to predict the first leg. Score predictions. Bruges and Villa. I have Villa 2-1.
I agree. I'm with you.
Dortmund and Lille. I have a nasty 1-1 in this game.
I'm going 1-0 Lille. Shameless.
They're going to burn the stadium down. There's going to be protests. They're not going to handle it. PSV and Arsenal.
Arsenal 2-0. You can say whatever you want, but
there's just no way Arsenal scored twice. That's why I'm laughing. If Arsenal scored twice, I don't know what I'll do. 1-0 Arsenal. 1-0 Arsenal. Madrid. Who we got?
Who I'm going based on my prediction here. I got Atletico Madrid 1-0.
I have Real Madrid 1-0. Feyenoord and Inter. I have Inter 2-0.
Agreed.
Bayern and Leverkusen. I have 2-1 Bayern. Doesn't
Bayern right. Munich?
Yeah, Munich.
I'm going 2-2. I'm going 2-2.
That's probably what's more likely to happen. Benfica and Barca. I have Barca 3-1.
I honestly think this is going to be another thriller, but I'm going to go 3-2 Barca.
PSG Liverpool.
Hi.
Sick.
PSG, Liverpool. I think Liverpool's defending has been very good this season, but I do think PSG will get one. So I'm gonna go 1-1.
I had 2-2. Before we wrap this up, last question.
Okay.
Who is going to win the Champions League this year?
This is how we're starting episode 1.
Yeah. Got to get the prediction out early.
Okay. Well, before I say my prediction, any viewers out there, comment your predictions, comment your scores. Let us know if we know ball or not. Winning Champions League off this, I don't want to say it because I'm a Milan fan. I think they are my dark horse. Inter Milan are my dark horse. And I think with the way the schedule is and like who they can play, I don't see too many teams beating them across 2 legs. So
being on that side of the draw, that's something we didn't talk about, but if you're on that side of the draw, you're in a pretty good spot to make it to basically, because Inter, well, maybe they're not. I mean, if Inter win, they play the winner of Leverkusen and Bayern.
I think Inter can get at both of them. So,
well, they don't got Onana in goal anymore, so they might finally be able to win one.
But no, very early take here. I have a dark horse, Inter Milan getting it done. Question to you now.
Very hot take. I think that Barcelona are going to return to European glory.
That might be hotter than my take.
And I hate to say it, because if they do it, I don't see a road where Mo Salah can win the Ballon d'Or, but I think Barcelona are going to return to European glory. I really do.
Hey, I think it'll be good if we check in on these takes each episode just to see like temp check, see how we're doing. But
yeah, I made a mistake there. I just really talked myself out of picking Liverpool for no reason. Let's be honest here. Real Madrid are going to win the Champions League.
This whole episode's pointless. Galacticos wrap it up.
No, I'm sticking with Barca.
Okay. Inter and Barca.
You got Inter. Jesus, they could do it. They really could. I forget about the Italian teams a lot. I kind of count them out, to be honest with you.
Based on this year, you should forget about all of them except Inter. But
AC Milan's pretty good.
And I think with that being said, you can wrap up episode 1 right now.
These will be exclusively on YouTube. You're not going to find them on Spotify or Apple. You probably will see the bare minimum on the socials. So the only way you're getting this content is logging into YouTube. So if you are watching on YouTube, like, comment, subscribe. Good, bad, I don't care. It could be thumbs up. It could be thumbs down. Your comments could say these guys don't know what they're talking about. Either way, it's getting closer to paying the bills, so it don't matter to us. That's all we got. This is episode 1 of the EF. We will be back next week for episode 2. See you guys later. I'm Smitty. That's Kenny. Peace.